All right, welcome back from lunch. I hope it tasted to you as good as it tasted to me. And please give a warm welcome to Ricki Hirner and Bernhard Stockmann from DAVdroid. They will give a talk on DAVdroid, you know, what we all need, that's contacts and calendar, and these guys make it possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the introduction. Welcome back. My name is Bernhard Stockmann. This is Ricki Hirner, and we are developing DAVdroid for about 5 years now. It is an open source Android app which makes it possible to synchronize calendars, contacts and tasks with your Android phone or device. So basically with a CalDAV server you can bypass the Google Cloud and have a fully working synchronization on Android. DAVdroid is not only a synchronization app or adapter. It turned to a management suite in the last years. So, for example, you can also create and delete calendars on the ownCloud from within the DAVdroid app. And we are planning more features on this in the future. DAVdroid, as many of you maybe know it, is a more or less consumer product or end user product for single users. And in the last time we've been asked by organizations and businesses which also want to use DAVdroid in their organization. And as you can imagine, for the employees of an organization, if they have maybe 100 or 200 employees, it's very hard to set up DAVdroid on every device for itself. It takes a lot of time and it's difficult. And therefore we created a managed version of DAVdroid, which is aimed at organizations and business. The main benefit of this is that an admin can configure DAVdroid from the distance, remotely, and deploy managed DAVdroid to an unlimited number of devices with a pre-configured DAVdroid, which is pretty nice and scaling very well. We have already a few clients that have bought managed DAVdroid. It can be used, we recommend to use it with Android Enterprise, which many of you maybe know as an EMM or MDM solution. But you can also deploy managed DAVdroid internally in the network of a company, maybe via DNS SD, DNS service discovery. Or you can directly deploy the app using a direct APK deployment or scan the configuration via a QR code. So there are many ways to distribute DAVdroid, which is pretty cool and very easy to use, especially if you use an EMM or MDM console. While DAVdroid, as I said, is an end-user product and managed DAVdroid is aimed at organizations. So for admins, we have also something for developers. And this is a library that's used in DAVdroid. We made it. It's called dav4android, and Ricki will tell you more about it.
Okay. Hello. Yes, about our library, dav4android. It allows you to use WebDAV in Java environments, Java or Kotlin. As you know, it's 100% compatible. It allows to do basic WebDAV operations, but not only basic, but also more complex ones on a high level. And there are already existing libraries, but those couldn't. We have developed the library primarily for DAVdroid, but you can use it in other projects too. And we really want to make WebDAV more usable on the Java platform. So we have decided to make our library which finds a way between complexity and possibilities and simplicity to use. And yeah, we have some predefined WebDAV properties. So you can use the library if you just need a simple client library. Or you can define your own properties for WebDAV. For instance, this could be quota or some things which are not defined in the standards. And for instance, for the ownCloud Android app, which will use this library, you can add whatever properties you want. And there's an API for custom reports. So it tries only to map the WebDAV syntax, but you can use whatever the standard allows. We have designed dav4android to be based on OK HTTP, which allows some nice features like HTTP2 and parallel connections, which is especially interesting for things like contact and calendar synchronization, because HTTP allows a single TCP connection to be used for the whole synchronization. And so performance is much better. It uses Java byte streams, so you can use it for big resources. This is a thing if you upload and download files, like in ownCloud, large files, especially on platforms with limited resources, like mobile phones. So you don't need much memory to process large files and also large XML responses, which is the next point. Other libraries use the document object model, so XML responses from a server are parsed and then kept in memory as a whole response, which does not scale very well. If you have, for instance, 50,000 files in one directory, then you need to keep 50,000 response entries in one structure in memory, which is not much for a server, but very much for a mobile device. Actually, you will get an out-of-memory exception. So we have implemented XML streaming in a way that allows, it allows to find the middle way between easiness to use. A callback is called for every response in the listing, and on the other side, XML streaming is used, so you don't have to keep all responses in memory. Okay, the collaboration. We have been asked whether dav4android can be used in the ownCloud app, and this would be awesome. And we have already talked about that now. We have changed the license from GPL version 3 to Mozilla Public License to make that possible, because the GPL did not allow to use the library in your closed version, I think. Yeah, the ownCloud app exists in 2 versions, and the library couldn't be used for the closed ownCloud app version. So Mozilla Public License, which is an open source license, but it allows the library to be used in closed products. You can also extend it. So if you need own properties or own reports, you can add them in your project and either make them open or keep them closed as you want. But as soon as you touch the core files, you have to make them open. The next thing, the library is now called dav4android because it had some Android dependencies earlier. In the meanwhile, all those dependencies are removed because they shouldn't be in a WebDAV library. and we plan to rename it to DAV for Java Virtual Machine, so it can be used in any Java or Kotlin project. About the actual collaboration, yeah, we have talked about it, what steps are necessary to implement or to integrate it between the ownCloud app and our library. And yeah, I think there's a beta version I've heard which works quite well with our library, and a few steps are necessary for the public release. And we have agreed on a contribution mode. Yeah, so thank you for listening to our talk. We're happy to answer your questions either now or after the talks as you want. Either about DAVdroid, manage DAVdroid, or the library. If you have questions, just ask, or have a look at our webpage, or contact us on Twitter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? Yes?
How many users do you have?
DAVdroid, you mean? Of DAVdroid? Maybe we can't tell exactly, because a lot of them are coming from FDroid also. But I think approximately 100 to 150,000 users. Yeah.
And do you have an idea why anybody has not, or why Google has not written this open standard by themselves, just to be
I think they don't want to make it easy to have a link between these two platforms, between Apple and Android. Yeah.
I think it's just because Google wants people to store everything on the Google servers, and there is just no need for another solution. And most people, the large majority, actually doesn't need CalDAV, CardDAV, DAVdroid, secure solutions, private solutions. They just need Google.
Thank you. Anything else? About the library, maybe? Okay, then thank you.